Christine Cushing and welcome to my favorite foods. Today, 2 words, fried chicken. Sort of. I'm going to do fried chicken in the oven because fried chicken is one of my favorite things, but it's so greasy, so heavy, and it's such a mess to make. You're going to love this recipe. I have tons of friends who always ask for it. So here is how we're going to start. First thing I want to show you is the coating for the chicken. So in order to create that crispy coating that we love about fried chicken, I'm using a breadcrumb here, and this is what I would call sort of a rustic style breadcrumb. Not only is it rustic style, but it's a whole grain bread. So you see how there's chunks? It doesn't look like sawdust, because that's not going to give you a very nice crunchy coating. So that's what I want here. This is 1 cup of rustic style whole grain breadcrumbs. To that, I'm going to add some seasoning because I want the crust to have that beautiful seasoning. I love oregano, and this is about a half a teaspoon of oregano. I'm going to also add some sweet paprika, about a half teaspoon or so. There's no spice to that, but I really love the flavor, the kind of sweetness and roundness, and it adds color. You could also add smoked paprika, but there's a reason that I'm not, and I'm going to tell you that after. The other thing that I add to give it that extra crunch is a little bit of rolled oats. The rolled oats are going to give it a bit of an uneven texture. So about a 1/4 cup or so. You don't have to add the rolled oats. I'm not the boss of your kitchen, but I really loved it, and a lot of my friends and kids that tasted it love it. So now I'm going to give it a little shake, shake, shake. Just making sure everything's evenly distributed. The last thing to go in here is a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. So I'm going to give it a couple of glues. So I don't know. 1 glue, 2 glue. The idea of the olive oil in the breadcrumb is going to really give it that crispiness on the outside. Because when you're frying, obviously it's going to absorb a whole mess of oil. Here you want to create that feeling that it's fried, but really it isn't. So maybe a tablespoon I added, not a whole lot more than that. Okay, so that's my topping all ready to go. I didn't add salt or pepper for a very specific reason. I'm introducing the chicken. So what I did is I marinated overnight 8 pieces of chicken. So this is 1 whole chicken cut into 8 even pieces with the bones in, but no skin. Removing the skin is going to reduce the fat. If you want to keep the skin, you can certainly do so, but I thought if we're going on that train to make it a little bit more nutritious and not so greasy, I'm going to go all the way. 2 eggs beating here. That's going to create the place for my chicken to grab onto the topping that I'm adding, right? Whisk, whisk, whisk. So now in this bag of chicken, you can also do it in a bowl or in a shallow baking dish, whatever you want. I ideally love to marinate this. This is buttermilk and a little bit of sriracha, so a spicy sauce that has a little teeny bit of sugar in it. That's optional. You can also add a clove of garlic to that and 1 teaspoon of salt. So the chicken is already salted, so I just want to give it a bit, just getting off the excess liquid. I'm going to put it right into the egg. And now it's going to toss right into this baby. The one thing I love to do is I toss it all together, and I like to make it as uneven as possible because that's going to create those little nooks and crannies that are going to get extra crispy when we fry it or oven fry it. Okay? So this is the breast part that I've actually kept the wing intact. And now I'm putting it on a baking sheet lined with parchment. And you'll notice that I have a rack on top. This rack is very critical. And what I did is I sprayed it with some olive oil. If you don't have a sprayer, what I do is just use a brush like this and brush the whole thing down with olive oil just to prevent from sticking. Want to see that again? So exciting the first time. Let's do it a second time. So just tap off the excess buttermilk and then right into this great little crumb mixture. If you don't have time to do this overnight, I would say just a couple of hours is ideal. That little treasure going right on there. My oven right now is preheating at 425. The key there is that you want a super hot oven, again preferably convection bake if you have it, because that's going to create that crispiness, because that crispy outside, juicy, tender inside, that's what we all love about fried chicken. Oh, it's looking good and I'm getting excited. 425, 40 minutes. It's that super hot temperature that's going to create that crispy outer crust. But I want to keep an eye on it because it could get a little bit too dark. I want to turn it down to 375 if that's the case. 40 minutes, and we're going to have some oven fried chicken. Did you say oven fried chicken? Look at this. So 40 minutes, 425. I turned it down to 400 halfway through, and I've let it rest for 10 minutes. Look at the crispiness on this chicken. Nobody could tell this is not fried. Look at it. I gotta taste it. Thanks for watching My Favorite Foods and for joining me on my YouTube channel. Please make sure to subscribe so I can make lots of great more videos like this. See you next time. Juicy.